Newcastle United look to the Stadium of Light as somewhere to play their football during the expansion of St James's Park or the potential new stadium. The words of a very misinformed Guardian journalist last night. I actually read this last night and laughed and went to bed. And then got up this morning, and there's so many people talking about it this morning. I thought, you know what? We'll get up as well. Well, early today, before I head off to work, have a cup of tea and talk about this absolute madness. I was there. I mean, loads of you guys will have been there plenty of times as well. I went there last year. This time last year was my first visit to Sunderland Stadium of Light. I was in the away end for Newcastle, and there was police escorts in and out, and we've got people suggesting that that could be the place that Newcastle are forced to share a stadium with Sunderland while our new stadium's getting built or while St James's Park is getting redone. And we are going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this madness. I'm saying it with a smile because I just cannot believe it to ever be true. It just wouldn't go down. It just would not go down with our fans. It wouldn't go down with their fans, you know. We'll talk about that in this video, and then I want to kind of push on a little bit to, so what will we do? You know, because if we do decide to change St James's Park, if we are moving stadium, all that kind of stuff, if it's like a half build into Leazes Park, which a lot of people are wanting to see, where the hell do we go? What do we do? So we'll talk about it all in this video, as I say, with a cup of tea on a Tuesday morning. So cheers. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, pushing ever closer to 50,000 subscribers, which is very cool. And I have been saying that for quite a while. But we're getting there, and it's all good fun. So, cheers. And I'll actually read you what the article says. So there is a little bit of insight to it. Obviously, we are kind of waiting at the moment to find out what the hell is going to go on. It was said by Darren Eales and kind of the Newcastle upstairs that it would be announced in 2025. Well, it's 2025 now, and we're waiting. And that's always the case with these kind of things. So it's like, oh yeah, it'll come in the new year. And everyone's like, 1st of January. Where is it? Well, it's now the 7th of January. Reports from The Guardian are that it's set to be March is when these... when Newcastle are going to have made a decision. There is rumours that some of the potential kind of... And this is the thing, they're keeping their cards close to the chest. You know, it's like fake reveals. Like they've probably got about 7 different stadium options, and they know which one's the right one, but they're not telling anyone because they don't know what's going to get leaked. They reckon that there's photos flying around of the 2 options of what the new stadium could look like, potential locations. So that's not, obviously, you'd reckon if they're going to do it, that is nailed by now. And then they've also got photos of what the new St James's Park could look like. And it's on tender hooks. Everyone's waiting. You know, Newcastle are banging form at the moment, and people want to know what's going to happen next. But what the article says is that... are making a long-awaited decision on whether they plan on spending £1 billion on a rebuild of St James's Park to increase to 65,000. So let me know down in the comments below, what do you want? Option A, that one, or option B, the alternative, to invest 3 times that sum, so £3 billion in constructing a new match day doubling revenue of 75,000 capacity stadium elsewhere in the city. I like how he said elsewhere in the city, as if there's any room anywhere else in the city. It's either Leazes Park or it's not, basically. Unless you want to get into down by the river. I saw something the other day saying that we'd apparently been in talks with the Everton owners. Obviously, you know, learning a little bit about how they built their new stadium. And everyone went, well, didn't Everton build theirs on the water? Tyne River Stadium, anyone? Shall we build ours on the middle of the Tyne? I mean, you know what? That wouldn't actually be a bad location. It would have to be far down the Tyne enough that boats could still get past. But is that actually, like, an option? Obviously, if you go too far, it's not in the city centre anymore. Thoughts on that as well? Either option will most certainly prompt months of planning wrangles, not to mention the likely need to share the Stadium of Light with Sunderland while a potential rebuild takes place. That would be unpopular. Unpopular in some quarters, apparently, not all. But seems there is no realistic alternative. So that's what we'll talk about in a second. And I think he has got a bit of humour here, because he puts move over Milan. Milan and Inter share the San Siro. For the two Northeast rivals can surely cohabit for a while. So there you go. Thank you for the laugh and the joke this morning, The Guardian. In fairness, I think the Newcastle owners would probably pay Sunderland, and Sunderland would probably take the money. So I think they probably would take them. But we've seen, the Newcastle badges in Sunderland before. We saw it this time last year with the logos everywhere. However, as I've mentioned already, there was literally police escorts to and from Sunderland last time I went. There is no way that the police could put up that kind of front every weekend. It would just be absolute carnage. I don't think Newcastle fans would want to go there. I think the Sunderland fans have already got a pretty frosty relationship with their owner anyway, because of everything else he's bloody doing at the moment. The last thing they want is to say, right, we'll come and have our stadium as well. You've come in, you've beat us in the cup, we've let them decorate the bar. What the hell are they going to do next? So that's just a non-starter for me. But admit, it's an appropriate conversation to have as to what the hell do Newcastle do. I'd rather go to Gateshead. Send us to Gateshead. How many have they got? Like 15,000? That's nothing. Why doesn't Newcastle buy Gateshead, do their stadium up first, get that to 20, 30,000, and then when we're ready, we could hop over and use theirs as well. Gateshead could do with the help, to be honest. Obviously, they couldn't go up and they couldn't get promoted because they didn't have the backing and all that stuff. So obviously there'll be rules about how many teams are owned in an English league by a single owner and all that kind of jazz. So that's a bit of a strange one as well. Unless PIF can pay Gateshead Council. Look, we want to use your stadium, but to do it, we want you to build it bigger. So there's some options there. That's not very realistic. I think playing at Gateshead for a small period of time isn't actually the worst thing. Obviously, it'll probably be a season where a lot of people can't get to the games, but it means the games can still be played. Gateshead will make some money. They can still get 15,000 in. I reckon that's maybe half the number of season ticket holders. So like a game every other game for the season ticket holders, and then have like a really small ballot for like everybody else, or maybe they just put the season tickets on hold for a season while they allow people to take turns going to Gateshead. So that's something that's always kind of been on my mind. Obviously, it's a very tough one as to what you can do, but like logistically, location, everything else, that's what fits the best. Outside of that, I think what you're looking at is if we're building a new stadium separate to the current stadium, well, they don't need it. There's a talk about doing it in Leazes Park, doing it in, is it like, what the hell's the one behind it called? Leazes Terrace? No. The next Leazes field with the three flat buildings in it. There's more than Leazes Park. It pushes back that little bit further, and all of that combined, who knows, maybe that would actually be enough to build the new stadium without having to break St James's Park in half. If that's a possibility, then you just build one stadium and then remove the other. Or even if they are going to build like what Spurs did, do half the stadium into the new stadium where you can still play during the time you've got 3/4 of a stadium. So that will reduce it as well. If they are just literally going to expand St James's, then they're only going to expand the Gallagher. So then everyone can just sit in the other seats as well. So I tell you what, there you go. Bang, top of my head, first thing in the morning, I've come up with about 7 better ways to get around it. Not going to the game would probably be a better alternative than having to play at Sunderland. Because that's the thing, that the reason they've picked Sunderland is because I guess it's the closest with the capacity, and I suppose playing at Gateshead wouldn't exactly be helping our matchday revenue when we can't bring really any money in for that entire matchday going season while stuff's getting built. There you go. That was a little bit of a little bit of a morning wake up for you there. Let me know your thoughts down below. I guess on the prospect of, do you want a new stadium, or do you want to redo St James's to start with? And then what is your answer to that? Because I can guarantee, I tell you what, if you are someone who thinks it's a good idea to go play at Sunderland, I'll have it. Tell us in the comments. Be brave. Be brave. Tell me you think it's a good idea. And then everyone else chip in and what you think will be good as well. Thanks for watching, guys. As I say, early start, cup of tea, off to work now. And then I'll likely chat to you guys later, because it is the big game, the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final against Arsenal. Can we do it? I hope so. No Bruno, no Shaw. Not a great record there. Even a draw would be fantastic to bring home for the second leg. Thoughts and comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you later.